I want to take videos. I know this
फोन का वो निकला रहता है ना घूमते हाँ फोन का वो निकला रहता है घूम के वीडियो बनाता हूँ
Daniel, don't know if he got tickets, but maybe. Craigmillar Castle.
But it's not. It's meant to represent a press, like a wine press. You use it to get the juice out of the wine. And on the right is a barrel, right? Obvious. It's meant to represent a ton. A barrel of wine is a ton of wine. So basically, you have a press and you have a ton. If you put the two together, yeah, you got it. You have Preston, right? Because in the old days, most people don't read. So if they see the symbol, they know this is the property of the Preston family. All right, so let's start here.
There is a year of 1810.
I don't think that's a 8. I think that's a 3.
I will take the video later.
Yeah, sure.
This is the best way to make a vlog because she's telling the detail. Following her. Hi. Thank you. Say hi.
Okay, this way, please. We talked about the Preston family just now, but they did not usually stay here. Yes? Alright, opposite the cathedral is the city chambers. That was their townhouse. That was where the Preston family usually lived. So we're talking about a very rich and powerful family. And when they come, this castle for them is somewhat like a holiday home. They would come here as a country retreat, and very often they would invite royal guests to stay with them. Important people like Mary, Queen of Scots, and her son, King James, have also stayed here. And when they do, they would come to this garden for entertainment, like hockey or archery. And you have to imagine that in the old days, this was a big piece of woodland. They would be riding on their horses, going into the woodland to hunt for deer or wild boar or game for their meat. And also in the old days, on the east side was 2 acres of orchard. They grew their own fruits in here. Now from here, you can see there is a small door at the far end of the castle. That is what we call the postern or the back door. And before we reach that door, you see a little rock formation. That was the very original entrance to the castle. What we'll do is we'll pass through this gate, have a closer look of these 2 entrances, and then we'll walk down there. That was a fish pond, or what used to be the fish pond in the old days. Oh, And for your information, fun fact, you see that little shelf over there, that's a toilet.
Oh. Yeah, we saw that one.
Yeah.
Your research is complete.
Okay, over here, you could just put it over there. Now this was the very original entrance to the castle. To really appreciate this castle, you have to think in perspective. This castle was built, modified and added on through a very long period of time. We are talking about over 300 years. You have to imagine that in the old days, at the very beginning, on day one, there was no wall. This was not here. Nowadays, if you want to come into the castle, you have to first pass through an outer wall and then a curtain wall. They were not there. The east range was not there, nor the west range. All there was at the very beginning was just the tower house itself, or what we call the keep. You can see the keep was built at the edge of a cliff. The cliff was about 20 feet. And you can also see they actually cut right into the cliff to create an entrance. To reach the entrance, you have to first pass through a very narrow footpath, and then they will lower a wooden bridge. You have to walk through it in order to reach the entrance inside. About a century after they built the tower house, they added the wall on the other side. That gave them the security. That's when they moved the entrance to the other side, which we are still using nowadays. That's also when they block it up so that people could not sneak in from the back. But this was the very original entrance to the castle. Now, the tower house itself was initially built in late 1300s to early 1400s. And about a century after that, they added this whole structure. This is what we call the East Range. That was about the time of Mary, Queen of Scots, a still rather turbulent time. That's why you still see a lot of defensive features on the East Range. For example, on the ground floor, there is no window, only slits. There would be guards behind the slits checking the identity of people passing by. And you can actually see the back door is actually quite small. It is true that people in the old days tend to be smaller in sizes because of poor nutrition. But rich people can be tall. For example, Mary Queen of Scots, she was 5'11". And her husband, Lord Darnley, was well over 6 feet. All the small entrances are meant to be to serve defensive purposes, so that big soldiers, they have to duck down when they come. Not only this back door. Have you been inside the castle yet? Actually, if you have, you would notice that a lot of the entrances or door inside the tower house was very small.
I hit my head.
Yes, even short people like us would bump our head on that. That's because of defense. Actually, the tower houses, there are a lot more defensive features. For example, the spiral stairs. Imagine if you are a defender, you are standing on the wider side. People who want to charge up from below you, they do not have a lot of room to maneuver. And also, even from the outside, you see there are not that many windows, and all the windows there are very small. And since you have been inside, you would notice that the design of the tower house is horizontal, is vertical, meaning that you have the dining room on one floor and then the bed chambers upstairs. All these are for defensive purpose. It's very different for the West Range. That was because this castle was initially built by the Preston family. But then in 1660, they sold it to another family called the Gilmore family. 1660 was a relatively calmer time, and the Gilmore wanted more comfort rather than security. That's why they actually completely rebuilt the West Range. The West Range we have right now, only the 2 towers were original. The rest have been broken down and rebuilt. That's why you see a lot more windows even from here on the West Range, and the windows are big. If you have been inside the West Range, you would notice that the design is horizontal, meaning that you have the dining room and next to it is the bedchamber. And the room size is actually much bigger on east side, west side than in the townhouse, because the Gilmore use the West Range a lot more as their living quarters. That's why this whole castle is important from an archaeology point of view, because we can actually track the development or evolution through several hundred years. Now here I just want to point out 2 more defensive features. If you look up the matriculations, you'll see gaps. Have you been up there? You can actually walk all the way to the edges, right? If you have not, later on you could walk all the way up there and you can walk to the edge and then imagine yourself as a soldier looking down through the gaps. If you see people trying to force entrance into the door, what you could do is throw down hot sand or boiling liquid or shoot through the gaps. And also you see next to the door there's a structure somewhat like inverted keyhole. That inverted keyhole is what we call a gun hole. This is when people could stick out their gun and shoot from the protection of the wall. You'll see the same structure in several places in the tower house as well. Now what I'll do is I'll leave you around here. Feel free to wander around and take some pictures. I'll go down to the fish pond, open the gate. When you're ready, come join me there, all right?
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you. This is a fish point. Where are fish?
Yeah, there are actually 2 common theories about what this place really is. The first one is, this is the first one. If you see there's a map over there, right? Over there there's a picture or drawing about this place being a fish pond. You'll find the same drawing in many books as well. In the drawing, this is a gravel path, and all the way to the end there are 2 islands. On each of the islands there is 1 tree, so that if you look from above, the whole thing would look like a very artistic P to stand for the Preston family. And in all these pictures, you see this pond filled with water, and people believe there is fish in here, which could be a source of meat for people in the castle. Nice theory, right? The problem is that nowadays, when we try to study the pond, we find that it does not hold water. Now, if you have been around for a long time, you know it's been raining for weeks here in Edinburgh. Later on, feel free to walk anywhere in the pond. You will find that the grass may be a little bit wet from the rain, but the ground is actually quite dry. There is no puddle, it's not even muddy.